You're listening to Blue Line Banter with Tristyn and Mackenzie.
All right, welcome back to Blue Line Banter, Thursday recording edition. Sorry we didn't do it yesterday. I was dying. I had food poisoning. It's a great time. So we're doing it today when I'm feeling much, much better. Plus, we waited till after an Oilers game, so now we have something to talk about.
Exactly. And like good things to talk about at that.
Yeah, right. But there's a few things we need to get to before we start talking about the Oilers.
Yes.
So around the NHL, I feel like there's one major storyline we have to cover first.
Obviously.
And that is Ovechkin.
Yes.
Breaking the all-time goal record with a goalie in the net. And
also the first time he's scored
on Ilya Sorokin.
Yes.
And that has to feel bad for Sorokin, especially afterwards when you find out that Budweiser was sending out specialty edition of cans to goalies who never got scored on by him.
Yeah. Do you want to know the list of goalies?
That got never been scored on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, sorry, my phone is loading it right now. Okay. So we have some notable names on here. Actually, not really. Just kidding. I lied. Anthony Stolarz is on there, which is kind of cool. Colin Delia.
Hey, that's an Oiler guy right now.
Joey Decord. Lucas Dostal.
Some of these guys
Kevin Lankinen
don't count because they haven't been in the league that long or they haven't played that many games.
Yeah, like Delia was 2 shots.
Dostal had 3.
Yeah.
The Cord had 14, so I'll give him that. But
yeah, I feel like the minimum should have been 10.
Well, then only 9 of these guys would have got cans.
Yeah. But it is 199.
Curtis Joseph with 2.
Yeah. But it is 199 shots, which
honestly,
altogether, that is fairly impressive.
Vitek Vanacek having 19 shots and no goals against is kind of crazy.
That's true.
Kieran Schmid, Joel Hofer, he's been around at least long enough.
Yep.
Devin Levi. Yeah, I mean, I thought that, when I saw that Budweiser did that, I thought that was really cool.
I thought it was very cool as well.
And I guarantee you they probably had a Sorokin can printed.
Probably.
And then that goal went in, and they're like, well, we'll just not.
This is going in the closet of things that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
But never happened. They also had a 16-minute ceremony in the middle of the game.
Which was crazy because I thought the league said maximum was 7 minutes.
Yeah. But I thought it was really well done. And did you see the ticket prices going in?
I didn't.
It was $500 to $600 upper bowl.
Okay, so
US dollars.
Average Leafs game.
Yeah. And US dollars. Yeah, so if you're
700 Canadian.
Yeah, I was going to be basically $1,000 with how the dollar is right now.
It might be that much. I don't know.
Pretty close.
Damn.
Honestly, $1,000 night out, which is a regular occurrence for Oilers fans going to Rogers Place. So that was really cool. Dylan Strome and Tom Wilson assisted on it too, which I really liked because I feel like Dylan Strome has kind of stepped into the Backstrom, sorry.
Yeah.
Spot a little bit.
No, for sure.
And Tom Wilson has been there for so long that
he has been, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's a new era of the Caps. I mean, Ovechkin is here, but I don't think it'll be for much longer.
No.
He probably does this playoff run, but I think he retires. And by retires, I mean retires to Russia, and he'll go play in the KHL for 2 more seasons, and then
because he's always said that he wants to go back to the KHL and still be able to play a productive game.
Yeah. So but yeah, this definitely isn't the Backstrom, Oshie, Kuznetsov, Ovechkin. That's a different era.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like when Ovi retires, the Capitals are going to be in a bad spot either, because they have a lot of you're seeing it this year. A lot of young guys who are stepping
Ryan
up.
Leonard,
Potros.
Yeah, Potros.
Yeah, however you say his name. I mean, Strome isn't exactly a young guy anymore, but he's not old.
No, him and Connor McDavid are the same age.
Yeah.
So, and
I always love seeing that tweet come up on my feed of everything was posted in 2015 of Ryan Strome will end up having a better career than McDavid. Just you watch. Have you never seen that tweet?
I've never seen that
Oh
tweet,
my
but
God.
that is a crazy take.
Yeah.
That is, wow. Especially because he's gone through a lot in his career. So I think it's really awesome that he has been able to rejuvenate it in Washington.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always good to see these guys. I can't find the tweet. I'm going to keep looking.
Okay. Yeah, but history was made. Also, everybody saying that it doesn't count because he doesn't have as many postseason goals as Gretzky. Literally fuck off. Literally fuck off. You can't move the goalpost like that. We had this discussion earlier this week, and it's literally you can't.
Also, I think we've been talking about the wrong Strome. I'm pretty sure it's Dylan Strome over in Washington.
Did I say Ryan Strome?
I think I've been saying Ryan Strome.
Oh, yeah, I meant Dylan Strome.
Too many Stromes.
Are they related?
I don't actually know.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because Ryan Strome was the one the Oilers traded for a while ago.
Yeah.
We never had Dylan. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Dylan Strome is the one that
In Washington.
McDavid was good friends with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not Ryan Strome. Oh, that was my computer. It's making
Hey,
weird
her
noises.
computer buzzed.
It's still black though.
That's
so.
crazy.
Yeah, but moving the goalpost, you can't do that. Essentially, when the postseason starts, the stats like reset.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, the people who are like, oh, well, yeah, postseason goals and blah, 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 they're a different thing. They get counted for different things, for different milestones, for different records. They're different things.
He also played through 2 lockouts and COVID.
Yeah.
Like,
he would have had this record probably 2 years ago.
and you know what? If they didn't have those lockouts and COVID, he might have like the same amount of postseason goals as Gretzky.
Yeah.
Not the same, but like close.
For real. No, I think it's again, it's just people moving the goalpost because boomers don't like to see new things happen.
Yeah, it pisses me off. And it was a lot of Oilers fans online. And I was like,
See, that's also annoying because, like, guys, come on. Like, I know Gretzky was the great one and all that, but, like, this is...
new era. Like, unfortunately, like
things are meant to be broken.
Exactly.
The conversation that's also pissing me off a bit is people being like, well, he's only going to hold it for a few years till Matthews breaks it. And it's like, I don't think Matthew breaks it. And then there's people being like, Draisaitl. No, Draisaitl's not going to break it either.
No.
Draisaitl, we need to average, we need to continue for the rest of his career to have 50 goal seasons over and over and over and over until he's like 40.
Yeah.
And I just don't see it.
It would be
It would
super
be
cool.
But like, I just don't see it happening. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Ovi's going to be the greatest goal scorer, at least for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And who knows? The game's constantly evolving and things are going to change. And I'm sure sometime there will be another kid who comes along and is able to put up 900 goals in his career.
For sure.
But, I mean, Ovi is... here's another argument I'm hating. People being like, well, we need to retire number 8 league-wide. No, we don't. Because if we retire 8, you have to retire 87. And how are you going to have 3 numbers retired league-wide?
That's true. And then, yeah, like players that already have 8, like they have to switch numbers and they're already like also franchise players and like, I don't know if I should say generational talents, but like, I feel like Cale Makar kind of is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure.
So
Generational defenseman talent.
Yeah, there we go. So you're going to tell me that you're going to ask Cale Makar to change his number when he's been in the league for 6 years?
Yeah, however
7?
long it's been now. But yeah, that's just my argument is like every league gets one, right? Like every league can retire 1 number. I think some maybe have 2, but if you retire 8, you have to retire 87 as well. Because and again, there's people arguing no, you don't have to retire Crosby. Crosby has done just as much for this league as Ovechkin has, if not more.
Yeah.
He just isn't the pure goal scorer, but he's the better all-around player. He's got the 3 rings. He's done all the advertising. He's done everything the NHL's asked for him to do.
Yeah.
He's won how many golds for Canada? So, like, you'd have to retire Crosby with him. And you just can't have 3 numbers league-wide retired.
No, you can't. It's not feasible.
No.
You know? unless we're making up new numbers.
Well, that's the thing. It's even like the argument here in Edmonton. It's like, oh, well, we have to retire Dave McDavid's number and Draisaitl. And then there's people arguing Nuge. It's like, we already have like 7 numbers blocked off.
Yeah.
That's 10. We're going to block out a 10th of the jersey numbers?
I feel like
I get McDavid. I could understand Draisaitl, but Nuge, like,
Nuge, I don't think we can.
The Ring of Honor exists for players like Nuge.
Yeah.
That we've created within the building of that like little ceremonial circle, and the players that maybe didn't quite get the recognition they deserve or couldn't get retired or the Hall of Fame or whatever, you get to go in the Oilers Ring of Honor. That is the perfect place for Nuge to go the year he retires.
Yeah, I agree.
And I can understand, like, again, it kind of depends on careers here. Like, if we don't win a cup with these two, do we retire them? I don't know. I think we're going to win a cup, probably 2, or at least 1, maybe 2.
Yeah.
But that's another thing I want to talk about when we get to the Oilers talk.
Yeah,
but
we're kind of getting into the Oilers. So Fleury had his last home game last night, regular season home game, because the Wild will be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like
unless something really weird happens.
But we're kind of getting down to the wire, and like the Flames, they got the overtime win last night, but they need like 2 points every game
the Flames
to
lost
get in.
Last night.
Yeah, but they lost in overtime.
Well, yeah. Sorry, you said they got the overtime win.
Oh, sorry. I meant the overtime point.
Yeah, after blowing a 2-goal lead.
Yeah.
I love it. Which is really unfortunate that they took that to overtime, because if they lost in regulation, it would have been clinch miss for the Oilers. But
yeah,
the magic number is now 1.
Fleury had his kids on the ice with him, like for the intro and stuff, which was really cool. And I don't know if you saw, you probably didn't like watch that game.
No, I did
but
not.
It was kind of crazy.
Was it?
It was 7-7 going into overtime.
I saw the score at one point, yes.
Joel Eriksson Ek had 4 goals. Macklin Celebrini had 3. Will Smith assisted on all 3, and that was the first rookie hat trick since Austin Matthews in 2016.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so love that for Celebrini. And then guess who got the overtime winner?
Because the Wild, was it like Boldy?
Kaprizov, his first game back.
Oh, I see. I would have said that. I didn't know he was back.
Yeah. His first game back in 28 games, which is crazy.
I mean, it's great for them to have him back going down the stretch into the playoffs, because so much of their offense comes from him. So having him back for playoffs will be great. Yeah.
And Fleury became the all-time leader in overtime wins with 70. He passed Brodeur, who had 69.
I think we should have just kept it at Brodeur.
I know. I was like, nice.
Nice. Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great for him, but also like, damn, nice.
Yeah. And I wonder if Fleury was like, I'm just going to let one in so I can get the overtime record. And he's like, fuck it.
I doubt it.
No? Yeah, I don't know. That game was pretty crazy.
If you don't beat the Sharks in overtime, like, I'm not going to lie. 3-on-3 overtime against the Sharks is not a place I want to be. A 5-on-5 is fine. Especially when, you're having to roll out and they can't just have Celebrini and Smith out there. But the second you give Celebrini, Smith, and I guess who's their defenseman now?
I don't know who they would. I would
literally no idea.
I don't know.
But you give those two space and they can do something weird. So I don't know. I wouldn't be risking overtime against the Sharks, but they did it, so who cares?
That's fair. Okay. Do you have anything else, or can we move to in their intermission? Oh, wait, no, I have something.
Oh, you have more?
Yes.
Okay.
So there are now players coming from overseas to play in the NHL for the playoffs and stuff. Mm-hmm. And a big storyline this week was if the KHL, was it the KHL? The SKA. So that's in Russia.
Yeah.
They were wondering if they were going to let him come to Montreal to play in the playoffs.
Oh, Demidov.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is confirmed. Ivan Demidov is going to be coming to Montreal, and he's going to be wearing number 93. So his he's the leading scorer this season.
Yes.
Oh wait, sorry, I got that wrong. He did play in the KHL, but his team is the SKA.
Yeah, that's the team name. I know what you meant. I thought you knew what you were talking about. Yeah, no.
I was just reading things wrong.
No, the SKA
Classic.
is the team name.
So he's the leading scorer this season with 19 goals, 30 assists, and 49 points in 65 games.
Yep.
So
Solid.
almost a point per game, which is pretty sick, especially in the KHL because they don't count secondary assists.
No, they don't.
So
They don't?
No. So if
Why did I say that like I thought I knew that? I didn't know that.
yeah, so it's like if you shoot and it like goes off the pad or something and somebody grabs the rebound and you passed it to the guy that shot it and like got it on net, you don't get that secondary assist. That's how I'm pretty sure it works.
Weird.
But if it's like a tic-tac-toe type of thing, then you get it. I think. The KHL is weird and a harder league to get points in. So
Clearly.
yeah. And I think this just makes Montreal more exciting to watch.
It'll definitely be a boost if it can translate for Demidov, which by all accounts everyone says it should.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. You want to know what's really annoying me in the Eastern playoff picture?
What?
The Islanders are back in a wild card spot.
Shut up. Oh my God.
Oh, wait. Hold on. No, they're not.
Okay. I was like, that is crazy. But
No, sorry. They're fourth in the Metro is what I'm seeing. But in terms of the wild card, the Canadians have 87 points and they have 79. So it would basically require them to win out their remaining 5 games and the Canadians to lose all of their next 4.
yeah, I don't see that happening.
I don't see it happening either. So they're not mathematically out, but
Like realistically,
yeah.
they're out.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we could go to in the intermission.
Yeah, keep it brief on the NHL
Okay.
because I have a lot of Oilers stuff.
The sound of the buzzer means it's time for the intermission.
Okay, so I'm not doing PWHL this week. I haven't really been following it as much this week,
Okay.
but like baseball's back.
Baseball is back.
And whenever a season starts, some kind of show always comes out to kind of like get fans in like the mindset of like. So Netflix just released In the Clubhouse, and it's about the Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
So do you know like the lore around the Red Sox?
I do not. You're going to have to explain it to me.
Okay,
briefly.
so basically, like, they say that, like, their team is cursed because they would get, like, so close to, like, World Series wins and all of this stuff, and then they would lose. And then in 2004, they were really struggling, and then they came back, won the World Series.
Okay.
And then they won again in 2013 or 2014. It was the same year the Bruins won the Cup.
Okay.
And then they won again in 2018. But since 2018, they've been dog shit, like so bad.
Okay.
I don't know if I should say that they're dog shit, but they have been bad like the last like 2 or 3 spots in the league, like just terrible.
Yeah.
So their manager, Alex Cora, do you know who Alex Cora is?
Nope.
Okay. So he was basically in the center of the Astros cheating scandal, the sign stealing. And I didn't even realize it when I was watching it. But then last night we were watching an episode and the Boston media was basically talking about how the Red Sox organization loves Alex Cora. And when he was suspended for that year after the cheating scandal, they were like, we'll wait for you. Like, we love you. We want you in our organization so bad. We'll wait.
Damn.
Which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And me and Dylan were talking about it. And I was like, wouldn't players be like hesitant to like trust him after that? But I guess his reputation around the league is because he's been like a depth player. He's been a starter. Like he's been sent down. Like he's experienced basically everything throughout his career.
Okay.
So he's able to connect with players really well and like talk to them and all of that kind of stuff. So it kind of like when guys come in, he makes them feel really comfortable.
Yeah.
So he is their manager, and yeah, I really like him. He's pretty upfront, and they showed like clips from his press conference when he was hired by Boston after his year-long suspension, and he was really upfront and honest about everything, which, I mean, you kind of have to be.
No, 100%. I mean, there's no way around it. You got caught.
Yeah. Also, could you imagine having like the highest point of your career? Like there is nothing better than winning a World Series.
Yeah.
And it has that asterisk next to it because it has the cheating scandal.
Yeah, I mean, that is unfortunate, but people like to put asterisks around everything. Neither of Tampa Bay's cups count, remember? Because one was, they had the Kucherov, and then the other one was the COVID season, so neither of those cups actually count.
I think it's a little different.
It's a little different. Well, people considered the Kucherov thing cheating at the time, so...
Well, it's not anymore, so...
It's not, so the asterisk fades a bit. But do you know, for the next, 2 seasons after that, you know how many people were just like, it doesn't count? Like...
But it has, a legitimate, asterisk next to it. They were legit cheating. There was a league investigation. People were suspended. People do not have jobs anymore.
No, I get it. But I'm just saying people love to put asterisks around everything.
Yeah.
That is a legit asterisk, but...
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's really cool that he's been able to come back from that and have a different mindset. And they're focusing around all of the players, obviously. And one guy that I really like on it, his name's Tristyn Casa.
That's my name. Well, first name.
Yeah.
That's
and
so cool.
He's their first baseman.
Okay.
He's really weird. He's a good weird. You're sitting there watching and you're like, what is this guy doing? But also, I love it. Because he goes out before the game, lays in the outfield, and does yoga and stretches.
Yeah.
And apparently his first game out, everybody was like, what the hell is this kid doing? And he even said, he was like, when people say that they don't like my weird antics, it just makes me want to do it more.
That's totally fair.
Which I love.
Everyone's got their own little pregame things.
Yep. And he paints his fingernails. He gets pedicures, all that stuff. And he's very just himself, which I love to see in players, because when players are being themselves, they feel more normal and just regular people.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah. I don't know. I had a thought and then I lost it immediately.
Okay, all good. And the Boston media was talking about as well as their manager, how everybody will be like, yeah, it's good this guy has a personality and is different when they're playing good. But then as soon as they start to fall off, it's well, why are you doing all that extra shit? Just focus on the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's always how media is.
Yeah.
And it's
it follows everywhere, but...
It's a dumb take, too, because it's not... If that's what he always does, it's not extra.
Yeah.
It's just part of the ritual.
I think it's a little bit bigger in baseball because it is such a mental game.
Sure. I mean, everything's a bit of a mental game.
No, I don't know. I see it a lot more in baseball, but it's maybe because there's just bigger personalities in baseball.
Maybe, and that might be a thing, but I'm sure if you could see a lot in hockey, what guys do in the locker room behind closed doors.
Yeah.
You could sit there and be like, well, why are you focus on the game? Why aren't you just sitting there locking it?
I guess I just mean because the Blue Jays, because they had the home run jacket.
Yeah.
And then they took it out when their new manager came in because it was providing a distraction, and then they weren't hitting home runs. So then they brought it back. It's just, I feel I see a lot of that stuff in baseball.
Maybe. I find super baseball fans are more superstitious than any other fan base I've ever seen.
That's true. That's true.
So maybe it's just a baseball thing where everyone's super superstitious.
Also, this doc also reminds me a lot of Edmonton because they talk about like the media and how like involved they are and how hard like the fans ride and the fans are ruthless. There's a guy on the team, he's kind of a snap show. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. He's a center fielder and he's supposed to be really good, but he just makes like dumb mistakes all the time. And a lot of the media was saying like it takes like a special kind of player to play in Boston because they're so heavily scrutinized, which I was like, that is exactly what Edmonton is as well.
Yeah, I mean, you said players supposed to be really good. My brain just went Evan Bouchard.
For real, yeah. That is a very, very good comparison. Yeah, and also, I just want to say, all of the Boston sports are kind of like down in the dumps right now.
I know.
Like
The Bruins, the big bad Bruins, like you like to say, they're just the bad Bruins.
Yeah, they're bad. The Boston Red Sox are bad right now.
Okay.
They're actually in a series with the Blue Jays, and they play today at like 2, and the Blue Jays are looking to sweep the series.
Well, yeah,
But
Blue Jays are up to an 8-5 record on the season, which is, again, I'm not going to lie, I'm not like the most in-depth baseball fan,
yeah,
but we're currently first in the ALE,
yeah.
which is crazy.
Nobody really saw that coming.
Nobody saw that coming, and like,
But it's still so early. Like it's
still
so
early. They have
early.
how many? 150 some games or whatever.
Yeah, it's
180
fucking
some
crazy.
they play.
Yeah.
So like it's definitely way too early. However, I was expecting the Blue Jays to be dog shit this year.
Yeah.
Especially after the last few years, we were building up to something, it felt like, and then it all kind of collapsed the last like 2 years, it felt.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to have, like last year, what was the storyline around the Jays? We were supposed to have all these great pitchers, and we were supposed to have the best pitching depth in the league. And that just never happened. The rookies we brought in didn't develop. The vets we had couldn't sustain. And we couldn't hit for shit last year.
Don't get me wrong. I love Kevin Gausman. I love George Springer. I like Vladdy. I like, there's a lot of good on this team.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to see how the rest of the season goes.
For sure. But if we can keep hitting like we have been, I think we're going to be okay. We just need to stay consistent with the hitting.
Yeah.
Because like I don't think our fielding was so bad last year, but our hitting is what cost us a lot of games.
Yeah. And the Red Sox are supposed to be better this year. So
True. I mean, they're starting
it's
off
interesting to see like where it actually goes because it is such a long season, and it's like June and July is when games like really start to matter, I'm pretty sure.
True.
But also back to like the Bruins or the Boston sports downfall.
What's the is that the Celtics?
The Celtics, which they're still good.
Yeah.
Like whatever. But the Red Sox aren't good. The Bruins aren't good. The Patriots, not good. So it's such a sports-centered city that it's sad to see. But also, they've been good for so long that whatever.
True.
All right. That's all I had for in the intermission.
Okay. Well, we talked a little Blue Jays, a little bit of Red Sox, a little bit of baseball. Let's get into the hockey talk. Today might be a bit of a shorter episode, and I'm going to apologize for that because my throat is very dead due to the food poisoning. So I'm on a timer here until I have to bow out. So that's kind of why we're flying through things today. So let's get into the Oiler talk.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Where do we want to start with this? We could talk about last night's game. We could go back a little further.
I will start it.
Okay.
Fuck Gudis and the Ducks.
Oh my God. Fuck.
And fuck the refs. And you know what? We need a little bit of consistency here. Or
100%.
like game management. Fuck game management. Fuck it.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
I hate the people online who are just being like, well, they're just ramping up for playoff hockey. It's like, okay, but we're not in the playoffs yet.
And also
Gudis is headhunting.
And you like, I'm sorry, you can't like switch the reffing style so drastically from
can't.
regular season to playoffs. You cannot do that because you're setting a standard from like the last 10 games into playoffs.
Yeah. No. So we want to get in that Gudis thing. At first, I thought it was just a collision, like live speed. I thought it was just like, they ran into each other. Then you watch the replay where he brings the shoulder up, steps into Perry's lane, and pops his head. And obviously, like, you wish to see a response from the players on the ice, but I don't think they noticed it either at the time.
Well, also, we're already playing basically shorthanded. Mm-hmm. So,
well, that game was. We had 11 forwards, 6 defensemen.
So you want somebody to take a 10-minute misconduct for that? Like, they can't. They physically cannot. Like, that's
not even like that was the first time. And then later, Gudis, it was again on Perry. Gudis just punches him in the back.
Yeah.
As the puck, like, Perry never touched the puck.
Yeah.
He just, like, full on punches him in the back, takes him to the ice. And then, like, people go to respond to Gudis, and he acts like he did nothing wrong.
Like, Brett Kulak saying, we had multiple guys come up to him, and he's like, no. And I'm like, dude, if you're going to do that, answer the bell. Like, what the fuck?
How are you, as the Anaheim Ducks, a team that is never, like, well out of not making the playoffs, going to go around in the last 5 games of the regular season, headhunting and punching and slash? Like, what are we doing here?
Literally. And also, Gudis as the captain, like, I'm sorry, that's a bad look.
It's a terrible look. It's just it was shitty, and the refs, like, and then the second period comes, and of course things blew up. So the refs start calling every little touch on someone. It's like, you've lost control of the game. This is what you get. Make up your fucking mind. And then you go to last night's game against the Blues, and Perry kind of runs into Bennington. I get it, but then Bennington punches him in the back of the head.
He literally tackles him.
And then when he's on the ice, he like Superman dives with the glove and blocker to the back of his head again. And then that whole scrum starts. And then off that draw, Jeff Skinner gets punched in the back of the head. Nothing. And then on the break up the ice, Skinner had his man until he gets his jersey grabbed. And then nothing from the refs. Nothing.
Like, how do you miss that? How do you miss that?
You have 2 officials on the ice. I get the one maybe watching the play, but the back guy needs to be watching that. Skinner is on the back check, and the guy grabs his jersey. Just for like 2 seconds.
And then Skinner is the one that gets the penalty.
And then, Skinner's the one who gets a 10-minute misconduct because he tells the refs he's a fucking idiot.
Like, what do you want from him?
He got his...
What do you want from him?
Refs got his feeling hurt because he got told he did a bad job, and so he decided to give him a penalty for 10 minutes, which... Again, yay, now we have 11-5 for the next 10 minutes.
I was honestly so scared that Knobloch was going to, like, bench Jeff or something, but then I was like, he can't really, because, like, we don't have anybody.
I don't think you can bench Jeff that's a weak 10-minute to give out.
It is.
I'm surprised somehow Bedard didn't get a 10-minute for that. Not even in the game, but just somehow.
That's fair. Yeah, so that was...
It's just these last 2 games that the reffing has been inconsistent. And my problem is not even like they're missing calls, because like they are, but it's just not consistent.
No.
And it's setting a terrible standard going into the playoffs.
And
because can you now imagine an Oilers-Kings series where the precedent is, well, it hits to the header fine.
And if it's behind the play, we're not going to call it.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, what? Oh... and Louis, like, absolutely ripping on the refs.
Oh my God.
I have never heard him do that.
I've never heard Louis get that. Like, I've heard him throw like a sly comment before. There was no sly comment. He was just going at them.
I wish I would have had 880 on at the same time so I could have heard Bob.
Oh my God. Well, that's what I was thinking.
He would have been irate.
I've heard Bob go off on the refs plenty of times in my life.
Oh yeah.
But to hear DeBrusk do it, and just the comment that got me is when they finally sorted everything out and the Oilers had a 4-minute power play. And he just goes, hey, look, they finally got something right. Fucking loved that.
Seriously. So, yeah, bad standard going into playoffs because it's literally starting next week.
Yeah, 100%.
Playoffs start next week, which is crazy. That is crazy to think about.
There's actually been a few games. There's the game we won against the Sharks. Since our last week. Yeah, so that was Thursday.
Yeah.
We beat the Sharks 3-2. We were down whoever we were down that game. Everyone, pretty much.
Yep.
go 0-3 to the Kings with about $42 million, or I guess we knew
$40 million.
about $40 million on the IR.
Yep.
Same thing with the Ducks. McDavid returns last night, kind of in like the last minute, last hour.
It sounds like he was like ready and feeling good, but they were like, let's just take one more. And then he saw that Nuge wasn't playing, and he was like, no, I'm going in.
Yeah. Because, we lost Nuge, lost Wallman, got McDavid.
And it sounds like Nuge and Wallman were just sick. They're not injured, just sick.
I've heard that for Nuge. I heard for Wallman it's a lingering issue. That's what I heard.
Because I heard it was sickness.
It might have been Gregor who said that. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know. But I hope for either of them it's nothing bad. We have 4 games until the playoffs. We have just over a week.
Yep.
And playoff start.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And Frederick made his debut. 7 minutes of ice time, re-aggravated that ankle.
Goodness. But, he was just as advertised. And I just hope in this final week he's good enough to go for the playoffs. I've heard reports Kane might not be ready to go game 1. I don't know how much of that is true.
He is in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't he be good?
I don't know. I just saw a report saying he might not be ready to go game 1. But I don't know. It's Twitter. I don't know how much you can trust Twitter.
I don't believe it unless it comes from Bob Stauffer.
That's true. That's fair. So the Oilers have been undermanned. And something I've been seeing a lot of online through these last, I don't know, go back to the, I don't know, just like recently, it just feels like there's been a lot of people who've been losing hope on this team, saying, well, we're bound for a first round exit. Well, just because they watched the game, and like you watched the game against the Ducks, and we lose 3-2, and it's like, well, bound for a first round exit. And I don't get it. We are missing McDavid, Draisaitl, Kane, Frederick, Ekholm, now Nuge, Stuart Skinner, now Nuge, now Wallman. Just the reason why we're putting out these shitty lineups right now, and they're not even that shitty. Decade of Darkness Oilers would have begged for a first line of Skinner, Brown, Hyman.
For real.
Like, are you kidding me? Why is suddenly have we lost hope in this team? I get it. We're banged up and it looks bad. But the reason they're keeping them out so long is just to make sure that they are ready for the playoffs. And I have no issue believing McDavid, Draisaitl, despite how much time they miss, come game 1 of the playoffs, won't be as impactful as they're supposed to be. I can't imagine Nuge taking a step back because he misses 2 games here or whatever it might be.
I agree.
Yes, Kane's a bit of an unknown, but I still think he's a good enough, just natural player that he can come in and be effective, even if it's in like a middle 6 role and he scores you a goal every 4 games.
But he is, like, that's the type of player Kane is. He is a playoff player.
And even if he doesn't score, if he goes around and is hitting people and being an agitator, that's value that we don't have.
That's literally his job.
You saw it in the 7 minutes with Frederick. People don't like playing against him. He's annoying, and I'm seeing that. Ekholm will come back, and him and Bouchard will be that pair, and Bouchard is going to be the best point producer in the playoffs for a defenseman, as he's done the last 2 seasons. Wallman's going to come in and give you that extra layer of offense and defense that the second line needs with Nurse. And Stuart Skinner's going to be back. And frankly, I don't know if he's your starter game 1 of the playoffs anymore. I'm not so sure. I don't really know. It kind of depends on how he looks in these games when he comes back, allegedly tomorrow against the Sharks. But
wait, who? Sorry?
Skinner.
Really?
He's supposed to play tomorrow. It's either tomorrow or Sunday against the Jets, but I've heard earliest is tomorrow against the Sharks. That Skinner will be back, and if he's back, he's starting.
I feel like we just need to keep going with Pickard. We've seen him play a lot of games right now, and he's looked good in pretty much all
ready,
of them.
give him the Sharks.
Yeah, obviously.
And then if he looks good against the Sharks, give him the Jets. And if he looks good against the Jets, give him the Kings. And if he looks good against the Kings, give him the Sharks. And if he doesn't, then you go to Pickard. And then you make your decision who's your goalie game 1 of the playoffs. And frankly, I trust both of them. If you want, you can make the argument that you want Pickard to be your number 1 in this, or game number 1. Absolutely, I support it. He's earned it. If you go with Stu, I get it. He's been your guy. And he's proven he can win in the playoffs, despite what people want to say about him and his numbers and whatever. He dials it in when we need it the most.
Yeah.
So I can trust either of them in the net for long periods of time. And if you want to alternate through them, I get that too. So I'm not going to argue about that all too much. Also, just because I thought of it, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Darnell Nurse for that back check at the end of the game last night. What a defensive play to not take the penalty on that back check, get in there, interrupt the shot for McDavid to take that puck up the ice. And what a game from Connor Brown.
That was a, what's the word? Connor Brown game.
It was just a Connor Brown game.
It was a Connor Brown game. Yeah.
He showed up ready to go.
He did. And that line, honestly, I loved. Jeff Skinner and Connor McDavid, I think, are gelling well.
They are. They were finding each other in really good spots last night.
Yeah.
Which only makes me a little more faithful. We might go Skinner, McDavid, Hyman on day one.
I could see it.
But who knows? But no, 100%. Brown had himself a game. And last season, that first goal, he would have found a way to miss the net entirely.
Yeah.
And that second one, he never would have got the shot off.
Yeah.
So to see him, I think he's casually fifth in the Oilers on goals this year.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think he's casually fifth. I think it's McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Bouchard, and then him.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna.
I don't know about that because.
Hold on.
Jeff Skinner has 16 or 17.
Skinner, or it might have been him over Bouchard. Hold on. I am pulling this up. I am going to check. Okay. Okay, so he's a little lower than I thought, but he's still up there.
Yeah.
So you got Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Nuge, Bouch, Skinner, Perry, him. Arvidsson, him. Never mind.
Yeah. Arvidsson has also played really well.
I might have been thinking of Skinner up in the top 5. That might have been what I was thinking of.
Because I saw that stat last night with Skinner, and I was like, imagine if he hadn't been scratched. Those, how many games have he missed? 10?
He's missed a lot of games. He's played 68 this year.
Okay, yeah. So if he hadn't been scratched for all of those games, I wonder. I just wonder.
Probably
would he
be a 20-goal guy.
Probably.
Which is what you signed him to be.
Yep.
So I don't really think we can be too upset with Jeff Skinner this year.
Nope.
Arvidsson is heating up. He's got 4 goals in his last 6 games.
Yep.
Which is really good to see. Corey Perry's been pretty consistent this year.
Also, 9 different Oilers have scored in the last 10 games. So the depth scoring is heating up right as we need it.
I have a little debate for you here. When the defense is healthy, who are you running as your 6th? Is it Emberson or Stetcher?
Emberson.
You are still going to go Emberson?
Yeah.
I don't know. Stetcher's been playing so good.
I feel like Emberson has very similar qualities to Stetcher. And unfortunately, it comes down to size.
That's fair. I don't know. I still might give it to Stetcher. Emberson hasn't done a lot to impress me lately. I mean, he hasn't done anything to lose the spot. But I watch Stetcher and I watch his fight and I watch his effort and I watch him move the puck and it's man, he's fighting to be on this team in the playoffs.
Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't want Stetcher in the lineup, but
yeah.
Also, Klingberg put on LTIR. I don't know.
Just retroactively, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really see the point in this signing. I don't like the low risk, high reward argument for it because he's played 10 games, maybe. I think it's less than that. And he hasn't really done anything. And clearly he isn't feeling good enough to be playing.
No, the experiment didn't work.
No.
It just didn't. It was a low risk signing, and again, all it cost you was money and cap space. So I get why they did it. And he, at one point in his career was a very good defenseman, but was it double hip surgery or whatever, knee surgery, whatever it was, will take you out. I get it. He's not there, and that's why he hasn't been playing. And now he's dealing with some sort of infection, which is why they've put him on the LTIR retroactively. And so I have a feeling, sorry, Bakersfield, but Savoy, you're coming back up.
Well, I think Savoy didn't even play in Bakersfield like last night or the night before.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like Savoy's probably on his way up, and if we need another defenseman, then I'm sure like Kemp or someone will come up, because he was like 1.7 mil. We can bring up 2 guys.
Yeah. Also, Philp looked good.
Yeah, Philp looks solid. He will be on the team next year.
Yeah.
I'm not even arguing that.
And
Low key, I think both him and O'Reilly have spots on this team next year.
I sure hope so.
Because our
he looked great. Like he looked good.
He looks ready. No, next year is going to be the year that hopefully a bunch of our young guys and maybe our team learns a little bit and stop signing vets before giving our young guys a shot.
Yeah.
Because, man, watching Broberg last night.
Yeah, he looked good.
He looked so good.
He looked very good.
And I know Holloway didn't play because he's injured, but Holloway's almost at 70 points this year.
Yeah.
Not like, even if you combine Skinner and Arvidsson, I don't think they're at that many points.
Yeah, but if you think about like what this team has gone through this year as well.
100%. But also, could you just imagine having 70-point Holloway?
I don't know if he would be producing the same here, though.
He probably not. But okay, so Skinner and Arvidsson combined gives you 52 points. And we also signed Josh Brown for 3 years.
Yeah, that was dumb. That was stupid. Stupid and dumb.
If you even throw in Pod Colson, that only gets you to 76 points?
Yeah, but Podkolzin has different strengths that we have talked about.
Absolutely. And I'm not arguing that. And I get it. And I don't think... But Holloway might have had the potential in our top 6. Because I think he probably would have been there for most of the year. But, like, I get it. I'm also of the thing of, like... I understand why, given the situation we were in, we didn't sign or like match the offer sheets. I just think it's dumb that we waited, like that we signed all these free agents before dealing with them.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm hopeful that Bouchard's extension gets done before the summer.
Yeah.
And Emberson's extension gets done.
Yeah.
Because if we let Bouchard hit free agency as an RFA, someone's going to offer sheet him. Mm-hmm. And then we're either paying him $12 million or we're losing him. So don't fuck this up.
Yeah. I don't know. With the Holloway and Broberg stuff, I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, you know what? We just need to accept it. Like, I hate hearing like, oh, as an Oilers fan, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. You know what? I'm happy that like they're in an organization and they're doing well.
No, for
that's
sure.
all.
I'm really glad they are succeeding. It just sucks that we never gave them the opportunity to do that here.
Yeah,
and
that's just Oilers management, unfortunately.
It
is like
management.
But also, you texted me last night, and you had Blues fans saying that, oh, we're missing Holloway.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was on Reddit, and there was Blues fans when they went down 2-1, being like, man, if we weren't missing Holloway, this game would be over. And to which I saw some people replying, like, they're missing, like, Draisaitl and Nuge and blah, 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 and, like, Kane and Frederick and Ekholm, and just they went through the list. And the person was like, well, Kane and Frederick don't count. They haven't played on their team all year. And we're missing Parayko as well. So, like, Ekholm's a wash. And again, the reply to that was like, okay, Parayko washes out Wallman, maybe.
Parayko also has been out since Four Nations.
Yeah.
So
like, but it was just like a whole thing. And it was a whole argument of this guy being like, if they weren't missing Holloway and Parayko, this game would have been over. And the counter argument was like, well, if they had Draisaitl in the lineup, it would be over. And it was a really fun conversation to read.
Also, I've seen a lot of fans online talking about Knobloch and how they don't like him. And I hate that statement. I hate that.
I love Nobby, and Nobby we trust.
Exactly. And this is his first full season after playing until the end of June and coming back 6 weeks later, essentially, because coaching staff is back earlier.
Yep.
And you're going to say that you don't like the way his style is and that you miss Woodcroft?
Woodcroft got outcoached in so many games. Woodcroft is a good coach. I'm not arguing that.
For sure.
However, Woody got outcoached in the Vegas series.
Yes.
So bad. And he went a little too reliant on a blender that was blending without purpose.
Exactly.
Everyone complains about the blender, and I get it. However, there's something about Nobby's blender that's just different.
It has
has a
purpose.
purpose.
There is purpose behind it, because you see when he puts certain players together, you're like, okay, like crazy, but I understand some of the thought process behind
100%. And like, yes, every single coach it doesn't matter which coach you bring in, they will always go nuclear when
For
needed.
sure.
That is another argument. Like, well, coach, we just got to keep them separated. We do our best. But every single coach, if you are given the weapons of McDavid and Draisaitl in a game that you need to win, will put them together. Because they are your best chance of winning.
Like, who wouldn't do that?
Yeah. Like,
It's a stupid like mindset to have, being like, well, if I was the Edmonton Oilers coach, I would keep McDavid and Draisaitl apart all the time. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Because those are the two guys that you trust the most, and you know that you're going to get the most out of every single night.
yeah.
So like, it's a stupid argument, and I hate it.
No, it's definitely an argument that I don't agree with. Like, I would be going nuclear too if we were down 2-1 in the third period against whoever we're playing, and then like come playoffs, like, and then I'm losing my words here, but I just think it's a dumb thing, and especially be like, oh, against Knobloch, why do we keep running out coaches? Why?
I heard somebody say, or saw somebody say, McDavid's the coach killer, and I was like, okay,
that's crazy.
Okay, yeah. For sure.
No.
Totally.
I just don't know why we're firing coaches when we're having, 95-point seasons and we're 40
in the playoffs every single year.
And, like, what do you want?
I understand the Woodcroft firing like that.
I understand that firing. We were, 2-9-1, and we lost to the Sharks, who didn't even have Celebrini. And like, I get why he got fired.
Bad.
It was brutal. And then we brought in Woodcroft, and everything turned around. And he took us on a 16-game win streak. And
we brought in Knobloch, but yes.
Huh?
You said we brought in Woodcroft.
Ah, sorry, brought in Knobloch. Whatever. And we went to the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And then this guy, like, yeah, it hasn't been the best season. It hasn't been like the fantasy season we all want, where we're winning the Pacific, and we're putting up 116 points on the season, and we're like have like 12 regulation losses. But that's just not how hockey goes.
It's not. Like, it's not.
And we've been, like, again, we've had key injuries throughout the year. And that's something the Oilers have been extremely lucky with the last 2-3 seasons, is we've just been healthy.
Big time.
And it's
Big time.
Yes, the hockey gods, karma, whatever you want to call it, it's all happening at once, fine. But we're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to lose in the first round of the Kings.
No.
I don't care what they're the best team at home. They don't lose at home. I don't care. Yeah, sure. Did they beat us 3-0 last game at home? Yes. Were we missing our entire roster? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not scared of this Kings team. But I feel like they have no offensive threat bigger than McDavid or Draisaitl.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not scared of them. Their goaltend, like, yes, Kemper has been good for them this year, but let's see how he does in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's a lot of not hate, but just misguided disbelief in this team and the players and the organization and the coach. And I just don't get why.
And just being able to like hide behind their Twitter icon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you wouldn't say that in a real life setting. I know you wouldn't.
No.
And also something, the Oilers have sent 2 division title winners into, can we call the Canucks a rebuild?
We can call them a dumpster fire for now.
Okay, yeah. Because 22-23 or 21-22, Calgary wins the division title. Mm-hmm. We play them in the second round. We win in 6, 5?
Something like that.
Whatever. And then Canucks last year win the division title, take us to 7 games. And now look at who has missed the playoffs. Oh, so sad, so sad, so sad. I definitely didn't get a little bit of joy reading that the Canucks were eliminated.
Yeah, that one was really fun. We beat them in 5.
Okay.
Flames.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like we beat the Flames, and then that off season, Gaudreau leaves, and then Tkachuk says, "I'm not staying if Gaudreau's gone," so they traded him for Huberdeau, which didn't work. And they signed Kadri, and that hasn't looked good. The only thing out of that entire offseason looks good for them is Weegar.
Yeah.
And then, they got Sharon Govich the next offseason, I think, but sent them into a complete, utter dumpster fire. And now the Canucks beat them. You're right. They got the division. We beat them, and they're out of the playoffs now. And how much of that actually has to do with us and has to do with the fact that Miller and Pettersson hate each other? I don't know. But we did it anyway. It's us.
I'm believing that we had a slight hand in that.
Yeah, you know what? They probably argued. They probably had bad dreams about the Oilers, and they kept going at each other about it.
I don't know. Just a weird coincidence that I think we all should take into account.
Absolutely. Oh, I had something. Oh, did you know that Tyler Meyer is the only active NHL player that has played a playoff game for the Buffalo Sabres?
Yes.
That's
crazy.
An insane stat.
That's insane.
There's only one active NHL player who has played a game for the Buffalo Sabres.
I didn't realize that Tyler Meyer was that old.
Yeah, me neither, but yeah, he's that old.
That's crazy.
It's so crazy. Well, my voice is about to give out on me. I think we've run out of most things to talk about. Off the top of our heads anyway.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for listening to this week's episode. We will be back next week, hopefully on Wednesday, as long as I don't die again.
Yep.
And this week, you should tell your grandma's book club.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music.